Yesterday, I went on Dr. Sebastian Gorka's show, and he asked me a really good question.
What is your response when you're told by white people that America is systemically racist, Chad?
Now, to answer Dr. Gorka's question directly, I would simply ask that white liberal, well, what do you mean when you say systemic racism? Give me an example of the systemic racism that you say exists and that is keeping Black people behind. And oftentimes what you'll find is that they don't have an answer at all. In fact, what's exposed is the fact that they think that Black people are inadequate to compete in America and that it's somehow the system's fault. And so it says more what they think about Black people than what they think about the system. It's not so much that the system is systemically racist. It's more the case that we do have still some relics of a meritocracy. And so if America requires you to be a person of merit, and you're saying that Black culture is incapable of being people of merit, then naturally you need socialism to take care of us. It's a slap in the face to Black people.
Despite several centuries of slavery, decades of Jim Crow, policies that created substandard conditions in one inner city in America after another to this day, despite all of that, for the African-American child born in inner city Detroit tomorrow, it just is what it is. It's nobody's fault that child is likely to have worse life expectations than the white kid born tomorrow in Greenwich, Connecticut.
That's true. The average of Black kid today, I think, is probably better off, certainly materially, than, say, Ben Carson was when he was growing up.
Ben Carson, the famous
Black
surgeon at Johns Hopkins, who is immensely accomplished in every way.
Yeah, certainly the Black kids who are growing up today have a higher material standard of living than I had. Kids who grew up in that same place where I live, they will not get that same education. Now that can be blamed on somebody, but it has very little to do with what happened 200 years ago.
I think that I'm using what happened in the past to still be oppressed. That's not even realistic, right? But I think that us acknowledging it somehow does something to Black people, right? I'm not going to change facts. It literally states here, right? You can look this up. Systematic, because what I will point out is that my mom, right? She's 70, right? So she was the direct effect. Like she marched, she did all of that. She was with Opal in Fort Worth. They marched back then for Juneteenth way back in the day, right? So my mom is a rider, right? So I grew up around riders, right? But my mama honestly understood systematic oppression. She always told me, my grandmother was born in 1925, and what she told me was, we never wanted to be mixed in with the white people. We just wanted the same opportunities. When they integrated schools, that's what messed up everything for everybody, because we really didn't want to be mixed in, right? Because once that happened, that's when the systematic oppression happened of our people. And that wasn't but 30 years ago. Y'all be talking like this shit was 150 years ago. This is still recent. So the ramifications of that still exist today. Yeah, do we have a class of people that are a degenerate class? Yes, everybody does. But we also have people that are doing things and that are making things happen. So for you guys to make any kind of negative connotation to be like, Black people ain't doing this and we need to be doing that. No, it's absolutely a class of people that are doing those things, right? We doing those things despite systematic racism. It's not because it doesn't exist. And I also think that we should continue to actually acknowledge it. And I'll end.
I'm gonna just say this real quick and grab some wine if I can.
Well, I just want to say this just real quick. I do agree with what y'all saying about the systematic oppression and racism, but to Ash's point, if we are the ones, like for instance, look at everybody that's really signed under Jay-Z. They're mostly like Uzi doing his big one. Kanye West, billionaire, Rihanna, he put them in a position to win. He took control of the label. He took control. So I do feel like when it comes to hire people that has that type of money, yes, they should be looking to own versus being paid off. But when it comes down to us at a lower level, we have the property. When you go out west, when you go out south, it's predominantly Black. When I was living out there, you would see them fix up these homes and these complexes and give us nice property. But what do we decide to do instead? The next week, it was filled with piss. It was giving people something, equity and money, but not teaching them how to do it and how to spend it is what's going wrong in our community. Even over COVID, almost every household, and well, a lot of households that I knew, they were doing those business loans and not like they was getting $100,000 per household and was not investing it correctly. They weren't taking down, instead of these people coming into our communities and buying these buildings and putting these liquor stores in our neighborhoods, we should be buying them out and filling it with mini markets. So then we can do a bigger grocery store. If you're not teaching, if we don't have the education, if you keep asking for equity and money before giving education to the people that's going to have to support us, then that's pointless, because you as a billionaire, Beyonce, when she was doing her clothing line, it was just seen as less than because she was Black. So when you don't educate yourselves on the importance of you as a person, your dollar, how important it is and where it goes matter, then at this point, you're going to be handing people money just for them to turn around and spend it at the other places like they've been doing. And we're not going to buy the properties that we need to buy in our community.
All right, go ahead, Hank.
So it's my turn now. Y'all said a whole lot of great things, and I appreciate that. Let me tell you what y'all not talking about, because we got the playbook. We know what it is. But when we gonna make the adjustments? We're not. We gonna keep kicking the can down the road because we're not gonna make adjustments. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing now, just complaining, and find more and more reasons why we can't do what we do. Look here, let me say this. If y'all worry about education, then y'all should be doing that with your kids. You shouldn't be worrying about them learning Black history in the white man's school. That's what you shouldn't be doing. They need, I don't have no problem with what they talking about in Florida, taking Black history out of school. It should have never been. You're going to rely on these white folks to teach us our history? Well, that's your fault. Shame on you for allowing a white man to teach us about our history. Should have taught your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers, and your great-grandmothers. That's where your history should have been taught, at home. So when you go to school and they try to teach you that bullshit, you can say, no, that's not how it really happened. This is how it happened. No, but we ain't doing that. We want that white man to teach us. Shout out to that white man. Another thing is, if our kids are not getting scholarships to go to college, don't send them to college. If our kids, let me say it again, if our kids are not getting scholarship to go to college, don't send them to college. Send them to trade school. Let them go out there and make money. I don't care what trade it is. And the trade's not based on your sex. Ladies, y'all can go be plumbers. Y'all can go be HVACs. Y'all can go be electricians. Y'all can be automotive mechanics. Y'all can do all of that. Get a trade. If that trade means I want to be a beautician, so be it. Nail tech, so be it. But we got to do what we got to do to build ourselves up. And we're not trying to do that. We're trying to find every reason not to. Look, you know how I learned about real estate? My goddamn teammate's father. He told me, he said the average Black man or Black family don't buy their first home till they're 30. I thought he was crazy. He said the average white is 25. So now they got 5 years ahead of us. 5 years of equity already built up. We trying to catch up. Why? Because, I don't want no house. I don't need a house. Another thing is life insurance. Why don't we get life insurance for us and our kids so we can pass that on as well, the property that we have when we buy a house? We're not doing that. We're not thinking about that. Why? Because I got to get that $60,000 car to put in front of that project-ass apartment I'm living in. You think that makes sense? Hell no. But that's what we do. Instead of doing just the opposite. I understand most of us was raised on, we brought up check to check. We didn't know how to budget money. But now that we got the opportunity, you got this computer in your hand, you can find out how to work money, how to educate yourself and be financially aware, financially abreast. Go to your bankers. Your bankers have accountants in them. If you have a certain amount of money in your bank, you have a free access to accountants. But we don't take advantage of those opportunities. Once we get that knowledge, we need to share it with others. Don't let it die with our elders. Talk to your grandmother, talk to your grandfather about what they know. I know you don't think they know anything, but guess what? They could teach you something. Even though everything they may say don't apply right now, sometime down the road, it may. I landed there.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna roll out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all continue this great conversation. Ty, you weren't looking in the private chat. I was saying you was gonna sing a song for us tonight, but I guess
leave me alone. I told you I don't know.
All right, y'all, man. I'll holler at y'all. Hank, Viz, Lapeef, Ty, Aisha, all y'all. I'll holler at y'all.
Good night. G-Unit.
I do want to say this though, right? Even to the people that's watching this, if y'all looking for a licensed life insurance person, hit me up in my DMs or Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I work for American Income Life on the side, so I do sell life insurance. Even some of these people right here, you know what I'm saying? If y'all need some life insurance, hit me up. I got you. I'll tell y'all the difference between, you know, term and whole.
Girl, I got American Income. Tell them stop
Hey,
calling me.
hey,
And I'm going to
hey,
policy.
you be in the streets, you ain't no scammer, are you?
Definitely not no scam. Definitely not a scam.